Sunday, April 7th, 1968. Rain since the early morning hours. 10,000 cars clogged the roads into the small town of Hockenheim in southern Germany. "60,000 fans crowd the stands of the Hockenheim racetrack. They've come to see their idols, to relish the exciting smells of hot oil, burnt rubber, and exhaust fumes, to listen to the roars of the revved-up engines. 60,000 determined not to be disappointed. The driver's impressions are different. 4 miles of wet, slippery track. 10 laps add up to 40 miles. 40 miles of mud-splattered windshields, carbonized spark plugs, overheated bearings. The fascination of the race is entirely different from the driver's point of view. There are 6 touring car and 2 Formula 2 races on the program. The start of the Grand Tourism cars, the overture to the Battle of the Big Boys, the Formula 2 races. Bread and games, the old Romans called it. A day at the races is like a gigantic opera. The open throats of the cylinders shrieking like the pipes of a huge organ. The moaning engines, the screaming sirens, the frantic voices of the announcers over the crackling loudspeakers. No one can say exactly where the boundary lies between business and sport, between spectacle and accomplishment. Big names make the Formula 2 races an outstanding event. Jim Clark, Graham Hill, Jean-Pierre Beltoise, Chris Amon. For one of the stars, the midday hour will be his last. But all of them know the race begins a long time before the cars cross the starting line. It's the mechanics and technicians who score the first important leads right in the pits.
Mit einem roten Anorak angefahren
Jim Clark is dead. One of the most successful, one of the most promising. Preparations for his last race don't differ from 100 others. Death doesn't mark a driver in advance. Jim Clark's theme song, the siren behind the scenes, is turned on. His dissatisfaction with his Lotus, which on this track has only a small chance against the French Matra, is no premonition. Clark is wary, careful and cool as ever. The farmer from Scotland was born on March 4th, 1936 in Berwickshire. At the age of 18, he starts racing. First, it's touring cars to gain experience. In a Jaguar, he claims his first victory in the big sports car category. Gradually, and ever more strongly, his interest moves from his flock of sheep to fast cars. 1959, Colin Chapman puts him on the Lotus team. 1963, at 27, he makes the top, world champion. 1965, for the second time. In the meantime, he's won 25 Grand Prix victories, one more than the legendary Juan Manuel Fangio. From now on, his farm will be deserted. Minutes before the start. Weather conditions have improved a bit. Tension is at the breaking point. The roar of the gunned-up engines drowns every word, paralyzes every thought. 20 laps, 85 miles lie ahead of him.
An den Boxen zurücktreten, go into the pit, please.
The Frenchman, Beltoise, gets the best takeoff. His teammate, Pescarolo, close behind, followed by Ahrens, Bell, Clark, Irwin, Heyman. Way behind is Clark's friend and teammate, Graham Hill. The Hockenheim course is a fast track. 2 minutes for the lap of 4 miles. Average speed, 130 miles an hour. The Hockenheim track turns the race into a battle of machinery. It happens in the 5th lap. A white flag warns the drivers. And now the signals of the ambulance become the requiem for a star. The contest goes on, but a shadow lies over the race. They seldom stop a race when a driver is killed. Concentrating on the curves, hitting 160 on the straightaway, they hardly realize that death has collected his tribute.
In der 4. Runde, 2 Minuten, 14,3 Sekunden.
Meine sehr verehrten Damen und Herren, im Auftrag der Rennleitung gebe ich eine Meldung bekannt. Der erste Lauf des Rennens um die HVD Deutschland-Trophäe der Formel 2.
On behalf of the Racing Commission, I have to make the following announcement. The contest for the AVD German Trophy has been overshadowed by a tragic event. Jim Clark, twice world champion and 25 times Grand Prix winner, is dead. Probably due to a chassis damage, Clark's car went out of control for a quarter of a mile on the straightaway and then veered off the track.
Jim Clark befand sich während des Schleuderns allein auf der Strecke.
No other car was near him at the time. A technical commission immediately started investigations into the cause of the accident.
Die Untersuchungskommission arbeitet zurzeit an der Klärung des Unfalles. Zuschauer kamen dank der vorbildlichen
No spectators were injured. Thank you.
nicht zu Schaden. Ich danke Ihnen.
There's little use in complaining about the lack of morals, piety, or mourning. The death of a driver is part of the show. 1955, it was Ascari. 1958, Peter Collins died. 1959, Jean Bera. 1961, Count Berge von Treps. 1967, Lorenzo Bandini. 1968, it's Jim Clark. All of them knew the rules of the game. When Graham Hill is told about the death of his friend, no emotion can be detected on a face that is ravaged by the terrible strains of this exhausting sport. Jim Clark is dead. A star ran his last race. Jean-Pierre Beltoise, the winner, receives the trophy. $60,000 have seen their idols, inhaled the intoxicating smell of oil, burnt rubber, and exhaust fumes, heard the wild roaring of the engines, relished the fascinations of a race. Will they be disappointed now?